Am I the a-hole for kicking out my boyfriend's homeless friend? Original post. So my female 22, boyfriend 24, has this friend female 25 who moved in 4 months because she had nowhere to go. Now, I don't mind having her as long as she respects our boundaries and rules around a house, but that's definitely not it. She is very loud, comments on everything, and just does inappropriate stuff in general, and excuses it for being a Latina, and that's just how they are. She doesn't help at all besides maybe cooking sometimes, but doesn't clean up the mess she makes, and she invites people over whenever she wants. She changes in the living room in front of us, literally took off her underwear, and I asked her to change in her room. But her excuse is that she was trying to feel like home and that she suggested I should too, as it will strengthen my bond with my boyfriend. I talked to my boyfriend about how I'm kinda uncomfortable with this whole situation, and he told me not to overthink it, and that she's just very unbothered and cool. She always interrupted our time together too, and would sit between me and him during a movie, or take my space while I take a toilet break, and she cuddles him in the most unfriendly way. When I asked jokingly if she was trying to take my man, she would excuse it on her ethnicity, and that's just how they grew up. So I knew I had to ruin this Friday night they had for them. I went up to them and she was all over him as usual. I called my boyfriend, and when he was about to get up, she said how it was their favorite part, and that he could leave later. I insisted, but she kept pulling him. So I went and pulled him to our room, discussed how what she's doing is really upsetting and that I no longer want her living with us. He agreed I had a right, but that she has nowhere to go, and that I'll have to wait until she finds a job, which she's not even trying to get. While we're talking, she came and tried to open the door, which was locked, so she started knocking. We just ignored her until it got louder and he asked her to leave, but she got even louder and then started saying how I ruined the only time she gets with him, which obviously is not a case. I had enough at that point, but my boyfriend suggested he talks to her first, so he went and they took too long, like almost 2 hours. And I went to check on them, and heard her telling him he shouldn't accept someone who ruins a friendship as a partner, and that is a big red flag and that he should kick me out. But this place is actually my property that I inherited from my aunt, and at that point I knew I had to kick her out. I didn't even ask what conclusion they came up with, and waited in the living room until they came out, and I just told her to look for another place and gave her 2 weeks max. She's been crying since yesterday, refusing to eat and not coming out of the room, and my boyfriend is saying I went overboard and I just hit a sensitive spot of hers, basically telling her to leave when she has no family or anywhere to go. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. This is your property, correct? She has some nerve then to suggest to your boyfriend he kick you out. Well, she didn't know it was my property. I guess she assumed we rented that place. OP, what are you getting out of this relationship with your boyfriend? He moved his other girlfriend into your house. I can't believe you've given her 2 more weeks. I wouldn't feel safe around her, to be honest. I really think you need to consider the possibility that your boyfriend is cheating on you with this woman. Yeah, he is so cheating with her, or at least wants to. The changing in front of him in the living room would had me like, get out. The way he acts with her and stands up for her over OP says he's banging her. Not the a-hole, but you don't have a homeless friend problem. You've got a boyfriend problem. I suspect he may be building her an art room. Not the a-hole, but you should kick your boyfriend out too since he has no respect for you. They're both freeloading off of you and disrespectful as hell. Start the eviction proceedings. This right here. OP, please evict them both ASAP. Your boyfriend is arguably worse than she is. Now for the update. Thank you everyone for the advice and helping me open an eye on the real issue. It was past midnight when I posted that, and my life literally took a 180 degree in less than 24 hours. It has been overwhelming, and I didn't expect this would reach many people. The comments were like a slap in the face I really needed. Apparently, I was too blind. Yeah, I guess my boyfriend isn't who I thought he was. He has been trying to give her food, trying to calm her down, and literally took a day off from college and work. He goes on Sundays too, which he never did for me. And he never even get days off from his classes unless really necessary with proof, nursing. So I don't know how he managed to get a day off. I really wanted to make sure it is what it looks like before deciding my next move. I prepared lunch way before Tom had asked him if he was around for lunch. His response? I'm trying to get her to have breakfast and you're talking about lunch? You're becoming unrecognizable. Yeah, I didn't know what to reply. So just ask again, but he said we can have lunch together if she's willing to join us. as it is rude if we eat without her. At this point, I felt like crap, to be honest. I'd asked him why she was so important that he cancelled all his plans just to support her emotionally, which I never did when I went through things myself. But he just left like that. So I invited my guy friend over, which he doesn't like, and I explained to him our situation and just asked him to be comfortable. I didn't want to do the cuddling stuff like them because we didn't break up yet at that point, and it was weird anyways because we don't usually. My boyfriend never realized someone was over until he came to take food. He saw us having lunch together and he just gave me a look, said hi and was going to take some for themselves until he realized it was a creamy rice casserole, which his friend doesn't like. And yes, I did that on purpose, and chicken roast with some sides. And he literally glared at me and said, "You know she doesn't eat that." And I just replied, "Well, it's not her who I made this for." Then he threw the plate, started shouting, asking what the heck was wrong with me and that he wishes he never dated me. It was so scary my friend got involved. They got aggressive, and I just asked him to leave with his other girlfriend, which he replied with, "Oh, so you're replacing me that fast?" But I told him he was the one who has replaced me a long time ago, but I was too dumb to realize. He actually moved in fully when his friend came, and colleges here do provide dorms. But of course, it's not like she can live with him. And I couldn't care less anymore. Also, no legal action is required for someone you haven't signed papers with where I live. They were just guests. So I packed his things for him, which aren't a lot, and left it by the front door. He came crying and apologizing, and acknowledging what he did was wrong and just other BS I didn't want to hear because the damage was already done. My friend was of great support, and he dealt with everything else as I cried my eyes out in my room. And that sums up how I went through my first heartbreak. It was my first relationship and I did love him. But I guess I can watch, eat, and do anything now without catering to anyone's needs. I'm changing the locks tomorrow morning, and we're ordering fried chicken. Apparently a proven heartbreak remedy by my friend. And although her excuse was bringing up her race, I know better than that. Thank you all for your support. Dude was sleeping with that girl 100%. What a freaking dum-dum. Now both of them can be happily homeless. Lol. If he was sleeping with her already, it was definitely going to happen sooner rather than later. His friend overplayed her hand. The dummy just assumed the place was in his name. I didn't think about the possibility that Opie had the power to kick the both of them out. It seemed like the general plan was for Opie to leave and for the boyfriend and friend to shack up together. Then they could claim to their friends that it was because Opie was so awful they sought solace in one another. All the time ignoring that Opie owned the place. Something I doubt the boyfriend told a friend. This might also belong in the entitled people forum because damn, the ex-boyfriend of Opie really thought that Opie would house the potential side piece and him for nothing? Just damn. Of course he's crying and apologizing now. He just realized he may literally have screwed himself out of the house at home. He thought he was such a catch that Opie wouldn't dare break up with him and would let his side piece continue pushing her out. Hope the side piece is worth homelessness. Opie realized she needed to return this catch to the sea and did exactly that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for moving out because I don't want to help my boyfriend out with the rent? Plus mini update. My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for 3 years. We live in New York City, and he makes over $200,000 per year while I'm studying for my master's in social work and have no income. Right now, I'm doing an unpaid year-long internship 3 days per week as well as classes 2 days per week. It's rare to get a paid internship in social work, plus internships are mandatory. I spend 12 hours every day either working, studying, commuting, or in class. My only free days are on weekends, so I have no time for a paid job. My mom helps me financially by paying for my Metro card and healthcare expenses, but everything else I rely on loans. Before I moved in with my boyfriend, there was a roach infestation in my apartment, so I'd stay over at his place a lot. My lease was ending soon, so he asked me if I wanted to live with him. At first, I joked with him that his living standards would go down since I can't afford a nice place. But he insisted on paying the rent until I finished grad school. Then we would split the rents based on income. I originally wanted to live in a cheaper place in Queens or Brooklyn, but my boyfriend likes his current place and insisted I move in since he would be the one paying the rent. So I moved into his $5,000 per month luxury condo in the city this August. All of a sudden, my boyfriend recently started asking me to pay half that rent, $2,500 per month. I was confused because he was the one who wanted to pay the rent in full. Apparently, he was talking to his friends and they all think it's weird that I don't pay rent and that I was a gold digger. I let my boyfriend know that I can't afford $2,500 per month, and he said I was leeching off of him. So I told him that he should find someone within his social class then so he doesn't have to worry about a gold digger like me leeching off of him. I stayed at my friend's place for a few days while figuring out what to do. I called my mom about my situation and she is willing to help me out, but the maximum she can afford for rent is $800. I found some places in Queens within the price range, less than 15 minutes away from the city and a bus ride away from my school, so I went to check them out a couple days ago. I've been texting the landlord and my new roommates and I already signed a lease. I told my boyfriend about my new place and he got upset and asked me to stay. He said that he was willing to accept $800 per month instead of $2,500 per month if that's all I can afford. But I told him I don't want him changing his mind again and demanding more money from me in the future. He lived in this condo alone for several years, so it's not like he can't afford to live there without my help. I wouldn't mind splitting rent with him, but I would have to live in a more affordable place outside of Manhattan like I originally wanted. Apparently, some of our mutual friends think I'm being unreasonable for moving out, instead of talking to him and staying by paying the amount I can afford in rent, and that I shouldn't have let him pay my portion of the rent. Now for the top comments. Around he fooled and out he found. Not the a-hole. It is refreshing to see someone just up and say, nope, that ain't gonna work, and then promptly exit the crappy situation and take care of things. The audacity to suddenly demand a cool $2,500 after you had an agreement, knowing you had previously suggested moving somewhere affordable and he insisted, because his friends hurt his ego while grossly insulting you. Make him seem weak-willed, thin-skinned, self-centered, kinda manipulative, and a terrible negotiator. Because now he's sat home alone with his sad face on that his girlfriend left. Plus, he's got no chance of getting a bit of rent for the place he probably can't afford, and no chance of lording it over you anymore, which it seems like he might have been inclined to do. Talk about a backfiring plan. For real, if he got convinced by his friends she's a gold digger when he was the one who insisted on you moving in without rent, and suddenly asking for $2,500 per month? He knows you have no source other than loans and did all this. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. They think you're being unreasonable? That's rich. He literally convinced you to move into his apartment, turning down your offers to find a cheaper place so you could contribute. The fact that his friends see you as a gold digger and don't appear to know the full story that you offered to pay and to find a cheaper place and he insisted otherwise is also a red flag to me. It makes me question how he talks about you to his friends. Definitely not the a-hole, and I would question why you would want to date someone who is so easily influenced by his friends' uninformed opinions of you. Seriously, he needed to tell his friends, you don't know her? She's not a gold digger. I'm the one who asked her to move in, and that I would pay the rent until she finishes grad school. The fact that he didn't is probably because he partially believes them. I'm with Opie. He moved the goalposts twice already, and is messing with her life. She should keep her independence. Update. Yes, I did dump him. I blocked him and his idiot friends and everything. My friends also blocked him since he tried to contact me through them. I'm going to enjoy being single and never relying on a man financially ever again. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my daughter's mother to walk back into her life as if nothing has happened? My 19 male used to be in a relationship with my daughter's mother Ashley, 19, through high school. We didn't use protection as she told me she was on birth control. I know now. Very stupid on my part. Her parents moved so she had to move high schools. She broke up with me, and I hadn't heard from her until 2 years ago when she showed up at my house with a newborn. She told me she was mine, and said she didn't want her and that she was giving up her parental rights. My parents went mental with me, obviously. Fast forward 2 years and we have had a paternity done. Confirmed that I'm the father. Got her parents involved who didn't even know that she had a baby. And been to court and been given sole custody of Leah with the help of my parents. Her parents wanted nothing to do with Leah, so custody wasn't an issue. My parents have been brilliant. And now I am legally an adult. Sole custody has been given to me. Now, Ashley wants to meet her daughter. I have said no for now as I don't trust that she's not going to walk away again when she gets bored of Leah. I'm not ruling it out at all, but I don't want to put my daughter through losing her mom again. I asked my caseworker and she said after speaking to Ashley that she wasn't convinced she really wanted to have a daughter either. She made it seem like she thinks it would be cool to have a baby, which is not the reason for getting in contact. My caseworker and lawyer have both said that I am under no obligation to allow her back into Leah's life as she signed her rights away, and so did her parents. I have explained how I feel to Ashley and why I said no, but she called me an a-hole. Her friends have also been calling me an a-hole around my college. Ashley doesn't go to my college, but now everybody knows what happened from her friends. Some people didn't even know I had a child before all this. I just want to know if I'm an a-hole. Not an a-hole. Putting your child's needs over the absent mother is the right thing to do. Exactly. Leah is a toddler. Right now, her biggest needs relationship-wise are stability and desire to be present. Mom can want all she wants, but unless she's willing to be a stable, happy presence in Leah's life, then it's better for her that her mom is absent. I got confused with the first paragraph, but if Ashley walked out on Leah, then yes, you have every right to doubt her. And the fact that she told her friends about your situation and put people against you? That sucks, man. Zero maturity on her part. If Ashley really loved Leah, then she should have kept things between you two and been patient. Sorry, when I wrote the post I was angry and it all just came out. Ashley walked out on Leah and signed her rights away. She describes Leah as a cancer sucking the life out of her to her friends. I know I am biased as she is mine, but I don't know how anybody could describe a baby like that. She describes Leah as a cancer sucking the life out of her to her friends. Not a hole. Don't let Ashley back in your life in any way. That right there, that's not the sign of someone ready, willing, or able to parent, much less be a good human.